If you don't already know, I've got a Discord server that I made originally for fans of my videos to come together and talk about music. But over time, it quickly grew into a place for just anyone to talk about music. Now there's a large majority of people in that server who don't even know that I make YouTube videos, and I think it's a super cool thing, and I think it's a really great place to be. Long story short, this guy named Aleph gathered a ragtag team of Kyle Cord members, and they brought it upon themselves to make the Kyle Cord Essentials chart. Pretty freaking cool if you ask me. It took a lot of time. They've been working on this for a few months. So I want to go through kind of a blind reaction almost so I can review it. Is it based? Is it paced? We'll find out. We got Kyle Core, we got Sub Core, Meme Core, we got the classics, and then we also got Discord musicians, the Kyle Core musicians, Avengers team. We'll be going through each. Yes, I did shave my head, by the way. I'll explain that later. All right, so first up, we got Twin Fantasy. Obviously, that was going to be on here. I'm going to say that's paced. If you are a longtime viewer, you know that I am not the biggest Twin Fantasy guy. I'm a How to Leave Town guy. Glow Part 2, pretty based. Although I went on record saying that the Mount Erie record is better. Glow Part 2, pretty based. Blue Album by Weezer. I've actually never listened to this thing the full way through, so I can't give an opinion on this. But Pinkerton better, I guess. Sufjan Stevens, Illinois. Pretty based. Not gonna lie, that's pretty based. Although Age of Odds is probably better. All three of the holy trinity of Sufjan Stevens albums could be deserving of this spot. Nonagon Infinity opens the door. Pretty based, I think. Pretty based. I haven't listened to this one in a while since I haven't listened to it since I made the video. But yeah, super fucking based. 9812, whatever it's called. Okakachi No Way Home. This is my favorite Fishmans album of all time. Like, I've been decided on that factor. So this being here, absolutely based. It's honestly probably a 10 out of 10. But I don't want to spoil it because I might make a video of all my 10 out of 10s. So forget that I said that. King Crimson in the Crimson Court. Pretty based. I like the fact that it's on here. A lot of King Crimson chatter happening in the Discord server, so makes sense why this is on here. Same with Fishmans. A lot of all of these albums make sense because like there's a lot of chatter about all of these bands showing up in that Discord server, so it makes sense that these albums are showing up on our core chart here. Ween the Mollusk. I've never listened to it, so I can't give an opinion on it, but a lot of people in that Discord server want me to talk about Ween, which I will get to eventually, I promise. LCD Sound System, Sound of Silver. I think I'm gonna give it a paced rating, actually. No, I can't do that. Yeah, it's based, guys. I mean, Sound Silver is pretty based. The Smiths, The Queen is Dead. Literally. Pretty great timing, guys. Pretty based opinion right there. I don't listen to it that often, but I have heard it, so that's based. Of Schlegenheim. Incredibly based, guys. Best Black MIDI album, by far. Better than Hellfire. Better than Cavalcade. Best Black MIDI album. Based as fuck. To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. I've only listened to this album once. I know, that's criminal of me. Having a music channel and I've only listened to that album once, I should be terminated. I'm gonna say paced because of the fact that I don't notice a lot of discussion happening in this album in the Discord server. But the album is good. The Avalanches. Since I left you. I mean, yeah, obviously based as fuck. Incredible album. Incredible time. Beautiful atmosphere. I love it. We are speedrunning these albums. We are done with the core chart. We are now moving on to the sub-core chart. The first thing that catches my eye on this chart is Long Season by Fishmans. Incredibly based. I would have preferred if maybe something along the lines of Uchu Nippon Seta Gaia popping up on there, but that's not on there as far as I can tell. So I'm actually gonna give that the paste. Hellfire by Black Midi. That's pretty based. And then following immediately after, Cavalcade by Black Midi. 2 Black Midi and subcore? Jesus, I mean, I guess my server really loves Black Midi. Also, no Black Country New Road in the core chart. I could have sworn that like Ants from Up There or something like that was gonna pop up in the core chart. Anyway, 21 Pilots, self-titled. I've never heard it, but people do rave about this one. I think Aleph actually likes this a lot, which he created this essentials chart, so maybe rigged question mark. King Gizzard and the Wizard Murder of the Universe. Paste, bro. Fucking paste. I don't like this album. A lot of people like this album. So many fucking Gizzard fans enjoyed this album. I don't like this album. Paste. This heat this heat. I think that this is a mistake. I think this is supposed to be Deceit, not their self-titled album. With that in mind, if it's supposed to be Deceit, then Based. If it's actually supposed to be their self-titled album, then Paste. I don't know what their self-titled album is doing on here. It's good, but it's not as good as Deceit. Ants from Up There, Black Country New Road. Obviously, this is gonna pop up. Everyone loves this album in my Discord server. I prefer For the First Time. And For the First Time, as far as I'm aware, is nowhere to be found on these charts. So, Paste. How to Leave Town. If this showed up in the core chart, then that would have been Based. But because it shows up in subcore, Paste. Keys of Denial, that's pretty Based. That makes sense as subcore. Pinkerton, Paste. Should have been core. Now we're moving on to the classics. I actually don't know what constitutes an album as a classic. There's albums on this chart that are like younger than albums that were on the core chart. So I don't know what constitutes something as a classic. Aleph, if you want to clarify in the comments, that'd be great. My Chemical Romance, Black Parade. Now that's a classic. Maybe that's what this is supposed to mean. That's a classic album right there. Same with Merryweather Post Pavilion by Animal Collective. That's a classic. Sung Tongues by Animal Collective. That's a classic. Maybe I just answered my own question. Animals by Pink Floyd. That's Paste. Dark Side of the Moon though. Now I would say that's pretty Paste. Based. That's Based. Don't fucking kill me. Now that's a classic. And the Aeroplane Over the Sea. Now that is a classic. Makes sense that they didn't want to put this in the core chart because then we'd look a little bit too much like a very controversial music board, which we are not. We are nice people in the Discord server. You should come along, check us out. The White Album by the Beatles and Revolver by the Beatles. I haven't heard either of these albums, which I know. Terminate my channel. The dude has a music channel that hasn't listened to the Beatles albums. Sue me. Death Consciousness. Now that's a classic. Makes sense why they didn't want to put this in the core chart because then we look a little too much like a controversial music board. Death Grips, The Money Store. Now that's a classic. Makes sense that they didn't want to put this in the core chart because then we look a little too much like a controversial music board. Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge by My Chemical Romance. Now that's a classic. Okay, I think I've answered the question of what the classics chart means. Everything's a classic on this album. Quebec by Ween. I actually have heard this album. I don't know if I'd consider it a classic. I gotta listen to it again. I haven't listened to it in a while. So for now, Paste. LCD Sound System. This is happening. I guess that's classic territory. Actually, I wouldn't put it in classic territory. I would put that in Paste. It's a good album. I just don't know if I'd call it a classic, you know? There's two Bowie albums that I haven't heard, so I can't really explain my opinion on that. There's a Pixies album, which I also haven't heard, so I can't give you my opinion on that. There's a Doors album that I haven't heard, so I can't give you my opinion on that. There's a lot of albums on this that I haven't heard. Soundtrack for the Blind, that's on here as a classic album. I haven't heard it since I made that MU video, and I haven't really been itching to listen to it, but I did enjoy my time, and I think I will enjoy my time again if I listen to it again, even more so. So I'm gonna put that in the classic territory. Then we got two Radiohead albums. We got In Rainbows and we got OK Computer. Now those are classics. Let's be honest with ourselves. There's a meme core chart, which that requires a lot of lore. There's some lore in the Discord server. I'm not gonna explain to you the lore. You're just gonna have to look at these albums and just try to figure it out yourself. And then we got a very cool chart of each musician in the Discord server. Any musician who released a full project, because we got a few musicians in the Discord server, their album is on here. You might see a familiar name in there. I can't speak on these albums because I haven't heard all of them. Sorry guys. That's not the sentence that you guys were expecting, but I'm pretty sure they're all really good. I'll have to get through these at some point, and I will. Join the Discord server. Let us know what you guys think of our essentials chart. I had nothing to do with this. Oh yeah, I shaved my head, by the way. That's right. I said I was gonna explain. So if you want to know why I shaved my head, then you can click on this video right here. It's a video on a brand new channel. Very special project that I've been working on, and I'll see you there.